Hello and welcome back to another episode of Weather or Not. I'm your host, Johnathan Domow, joined by our forecaster, Rebecca Newell. And Rebecca, temperatures have been all over the place. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, at the beginning of this week, we saw a bit of a cold shot, but now that we're progressing towards the weekend, temperatures are on the rise, though we are going to be staying just a little bit below average.
And we'll hear more about that in Rebecca's forecast later in the show, but first, here's Nature in the News.
As wildfires grow more destructive across the United States, scientists have taken to burning homes on purpose to learn how to save them. At a research site in Richburg, South Carolina, scientists with the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety are setting fires to full-sized homes to study how flames spread. Researchers have burned more than a dozen homes at the site, using sensors and cameras to track how fire behaves. Scientists found that keeping a buffer zone around homes, free of mulch, wooden fences, and vegetation, can help stop the flames from spreading. New building features like ignition-resistant walls and special vent coverings are already being added to fire-prone regions. With forecasts pointing to an especially dangerous wildfire season this year, researchers hope that these experiments will help communities better prepare for what could be a challenging year ahead.
What started as a routine drive through the mountains earlier this month quickly turned into a chain reaction nightmare on a major interstate. More than 75 vehicles slammed into each other along Interstate 70 in Colorado after a sudden burst of heavy snow created dangerously slick roads and near zero visibility. Drivers described it like a pinball machine with cars spinning, semis jackknifing, and crashes happening one after another. A cold front ushered in temperatures 5 to 15 degrees below average at the beginning of the middle of April and set up Colorado for a long-lasting snow event. Snow showers plagued the higher elevations around I-70, which brought down visibility and contributed to the pileup. Larkspur, Colorado, south of Denver, saw 10 inches of snow, while other areas around northern Colorado received about half an inch.
An earthquake off the coast of Japan triggered tsunami warnings and forced evacuations across several coastal communities Monday afternoon. The magnitude 7.7 quake struck off Japan's northeastern coast at a shallow depth, causing strong shaking and prompting officials to warn residents to stay away from shorelines. Tsunami waves of up to 63 feet were initially expected, but only smaller waves measuring about 17 feet were detected along parts of the coast of Hokkaido. Authorities ordered evacuations in towns including Otsuchi and Kamaishi. While no major damage or deaths were reported, officials warned that the risk of another strong earthquake remains elevated for up to a week, with the possibility of a magnitude 8 or higher earthquake greater than normal. Residents are being urged to remain alert and prepared.
This spring, the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources is doing their part to help residents manage over 2 million acres of lawn. Maintaining a lawn takes lots of work. Grass needs fertilizer if the soil is poor, and fertilizers run off into streams when it rains. Turf wants water when the weather doesn't provide it. Mowing takes time and energy, and it also removes food for pollinators, causing them to disappear. The DCNR Lawn to Habitat program aims to support those who wish to convert excess acres of lawn to woods or meadows. The DCNR stresses that by doing so, residents can add natural diversity to their yard and save time spent caring for a grass lawn. Free pocket meadow kits are available to help residents convert small areas of lawn into native meadow habitats, with a total of 300 kits being distributed statewide. Each kit has enough native seeds to convert up to 1,000 acres into native meadows and contains educational materials to help the user apply the kit properly. Those interested can visit pa.gov/DCNR for more information.
It's an exciting weekend in Happy Valley as the Blue and White game approaches. Unfortunately, we also have rain in the forecast, so it's going to be a little bit of a wet one. Friday, we do see the system to the west approaching, and that's where the bulk of the rain is going to be for this weekend. But that doesn't mean Friday is going to be completely dry. We do have a little bit of low pressure sitting over the Commonwealth, but the real concern is lake effect precipitation from Lake Erie associated with the counterclockwise rotation about this low. And that could be bringing some showers, maybe some rumbles of thunder considering the warmth that we're going to be experiencing on Friday. But again, the main concern for this weekend is that rainfall on Saturday. It's expected to come in the morning, so not even your tailgate's going to be safe. It's going to cool us down as well, so it's going to be chilly, it's going to be rainy. So make sure you bring a raincoat and umbrella to your tailgate and to the blue and white game. So even though it's going to be rainy, it's going to be a little bit chilly. Don't miss it. It's still going to be a good time because luckily, once that moves through on Sunday, we're going to be seeing still cool conditions, a little bit warmer than Saturday, but it's overall going to be mild, light winds as this high pressure system begins to sit up, maybe a few stray showers here or there, but nothing that would last too long with this trough here. But Sunday overall going to be nice. Most of the rain has moved out by the time Sunday arrives. You might see a bit of an AM shower, but that's about it for Sunday. Now for a quick weekend recap, we have a high of 73 on Friday. It's going to be warmer than the rest of the weekend with scattered showers and thunderstorms potential. Same thing Friday night, scattered showers as that system approaches, and we see a chilly and wet day all throughout Saturday. That moderate rain is just going to keep us wet the entire day. We're expecting rain totals of about half an inch. Saturday night, those showers linger into the morning with a low of 43 into Sunday, where again, we might see a stray shower here or there left over from that system that passed through on Saturday with a high of 62 and decreasing clouds throughout the day. And next up, your feature on the history of the NWS from our very own Frank Gargione.
The National Weather Service is one of the most important agencies the government has to offer. From issuing warnings, giving forecasts, and providing educational insight, the National Weather Service makes sure the public stays safe from Mother Nature's worst. But how did it begin? Well, the story of the National Weather Service begins long before modern technology. Even in the 1700s, early American leaders like Thomas Jefferson carefully recorded weather observations. Jefferson actually purchased a thermometer and a barometer while in town for the adoption of the Declaration of Independence. He took regular observations at Monticello from 1772 to 1778 and participated in taking the first known simultaneous weather observations in America. By the early 1800s, weather observations began spreading across the country, but there was one major problem: a lack in communication. Observations were isolated and slow to share. That changed with the invention of the telegraph. Weather data from across the country could now be collected quickly and analyzed in one place, laying the foundation for modern forecasting. By the end of 1849, 150 volunteers throughout the United States were reporting weather observations to the Smithsonian Institution regularly. By 1860, 500 stations were furnishing daily telegraphic weather reports to the Washington Evening Star, and as the network grew, other existing systems were gradually absorbed, including several state weather services. Everything changed in 1870. The United States government officially created the nation's first weather service under the Army Signal Service. For the first time, there was a coordinated effort to observe weather and issue forecasts across the country. In 1890, the system transitioned from the military to civilian control and became known as the Weather Bureau. This marked a major shift. Weather forecasting was no longer just about military needs, but about protecting everyday citizens and supporting agriculture and commerce. As the 20th century began, technology rapidly transformed forecasting. Weather balloons, called radiosondes, allowed scientists to measure the atmosphere high above the surface. Radar was introduced in the 1950s, giving meteorologists the ability to track storms in real time. And satellites, first launched in the late 1950s, provided a global view of weather systems for the first time. In 1970, a major milestone occurred. The Weather Bureau officially became the National Weather Service and was placed under the newly formed National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA. This move brought together weather, ocean, and climate science under one organization, strengthening forecasting and research nationwide. In the late 1970s and 1980s, the agency began shifting from manual forecasting methods to computer-based systems, using early numerical weather prediction models to improve accuracy. By the 1990s, one of the biggest breakthroughs arrived with the nationwide rollout of the next-rad Doppler radar, which allowed meteorologists to detect storm rotation, wind patterns, and precipitation intensity in real time, leading to faster and more reliable severe weather warnings. During this same period, satellite technology under the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration improved dramatically, providing clearer and more frequent images of developing storms. Today, the National Weather Service operates a nationwide network of forecast offices, river centers, and national centers, providing critical weather, water, and climate information. Their mission is simple but vital: protect life and property and enhance the national economy. From handwritten observations in the 1700s to satellites orbiting Earth today, the evolution of weather forecasting in the National Weather Service has been driven by one goal: keeping people safe. So the next time you get a weather alert on your phone, remember, you're seeing the result of more than a century of science, innovation, and progress. For Whether or Not, I'm Frank Gargione.
Although we're keeping it a little bit below average this weekend, we are setting up for what is a typical spring pattern as we head into next week. This Friday is going to be your warmest day of the weekend with scattered showers and potential thunderstorms, mainly due to the low pressure system sitting over western Pennsylvania, bringing in potential lake effect rain. And with the warmer conditions, a high of 73, you could see some rumbles of thunder. Now, overnight, the low pressure system over the Midwest is going to start to roll in and make Saturday, the day for the blue and white game, overall quite chilly and wet. But winds aren't expected to be super intense, so although it is going to be chilly and wet, an umbrella or rain jacket should keep you dry or mostly dry. So make sure you pack those if you do plan on going tailgating or hitting up the game. Your high for that day is going to be 58 with a low of 43. Maybe pack a jacket or two if you are going. It's going to be a little bit chilly, but it is still going to be very fun, so make sure you go. Now on Sunday, you might see some lingering showers in the morning, but as you head throughout the day, clouds are going to decrease as a bit of high pressure settles in over the area, and temperatures will rebound just a bit with a high of 62 and a low of 41. Now, heading into your next week, again, I mentioned that typical spring pattern. You can see these temperatures are hovering right about average for the entire week. On Monday, we have partly cloudy skies. On Tuesday, we see another system begin to roll on through with a high just a little bit below average. Wednesday, we clear up just a little bit again. No rain expected, but it is going to be mostly cloudy with a little bit of a temperature rebound just above average. Thursday, we see the temperature drop off again just a little bit, and same thing with Friday as another system approaches. But again, the overall week is finally starting to look like spring. We're not having any of those great temperature dips like we did the beginning of this week, so look forward to it as you head into your next week. Spring has finally arrived. Now here's your weather whiz quiz answer.
And if you said A, 1993, you would be correct.
Yeah, and in 1993, we actually had just over 8.5 inches total of precipitation for the month of April. Now this month, we are sitting just a little bit below average, but with the system coming in this weekend, we could see that amount bump a little bit closer to that average mark.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how this weekend pans out in terms of rain. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this episode of Whether or Not, and join us again next week for the final episode of the Spring 26 semester.